My name is Stefan Plewniak. I have the pleasure to be conductor of the Orchestra Royal de l'Opéra Versailles during this tournée in Korea. I'm also a violinist, and I will have the pleasure to play two next concerts as a soloist with the orchestra in the repertoire of the Four Seasons by Vivaldi. I was introduced to Baroque music in the Netherlands. I was studying modern violin, and then by chance my friend, singer, soprano, and I mean she's singing in the Baroque ensemble, and it's a chamber group, but the violinist got sick and she needs someone to replace him for the concert. And they have the instrument, so they gave me a violin, they gave me a bow, and they just introduced me to play with them like this. So I was very inspired by the sound, by the aesthetic, by the ambience of the Baroque ensembles, so that is much more open and much more kind of welcoming, and less focus on the competition and being so much obsessed with the perfection and with kind of competing who is the best, but more embracing the fact of sharing the music and more enjoying the fact of being together and doing something more focused on research, on searching in the source of how the music was composed and where the sense of music is really existing. And for me, it was liberating feeling. I felt that this is somehow much more a field which gives more space in your life, and you can get more. You can go your own way. You don't have to be so much focused on what everyone else is doing, but you can kind of find your own space in your development, and that was very exciting and kind of more opening for myself. And I felt that this is the right way to go, musically and also personally. Yeah. And in the Baroque, many things are kind of very much linked to the traditional music, and kind of inspired by the rhythmic of the dance music, which was different in Germany, different in France, different in Italy, different in many different cultures and small countries which are in Europe. And that's why we have so much kind of feeling of this rhythmical music, and essence of the structures which are more made like a dance. So that's why it's kind of this feeling is much more direct of how the music is flowing, and how the rhythm and the bass line and the melody, the structures are much more clear for us, and much more kind of, you know, also joyful in this sense. The mood is more pure also in the expression. So that's why it's somehow easier, it's closer to the heart, because it's somehow more communicative in this sense. Of course, later we have romantic music, and we have all these composers who made this feeling of more romantic feeling that is close to our hearts when we watch the movies and everything. This is, you know, the Disney and Tchaikovsky and Dvorak and all these other composers made us feeling that this is somehow also much more closer to our emotions. But what is so different is mainly you talked about, the energy. I think the energy comes from the fact that this is somehow, it's the root of the music is much closer in the Baroque times. It's much more rooted in the rhythm and traditional music, and that's why it somehow evokes this energetic feeling. This is one thing. And the second is more kind of pragmatic, is that these ensembles and orchestras of Baroque orchestras are mainly constructed by the people who choose freely to join these ensembles and to make their own step to not go to the modern orchestras, but to be something, part of something that is more their own personal choice. Yeah, I don't know. They are just more happy, I think, about life and everything. That's why I think it's more fun to conduct. I don't know. It's harder to evoke these emotions with the modern people, you know, with the modern orchestra, which are kind of fixed position and they are there for 40 years, and it's harder to get this truly joyful emotions from them than from the Baroque orchestra, which is like this. I think you know, for me, it doesn't matter if it's a Baroque or if it's a modern orchestra. For me, the main point is that the people who are playing, they owe their music that they are playing, so that they feel that what they play is somehow their own. It's not my interpretation, but it's the music itself gives us the guide, what it requires to touch the hearts of the public. And I think for me this is the essence, that we have to have fun as players, and we have to feel the music, and we have to be touched by the music as players, and then this becomes somehow truthful experience for the players. And of course then also public is somehow the people who are also touched by the music, by the fact that we are truly inside of the music and that we are truly experiencing as a players, and then the public also gets the same feeling. So for me this is the kind of essence, and this is what I'm searching always for, playing and conducting. I think like everything in music, everything what we are doing is it should be personal. Yeah, it should be our own experience, and it should be our own feeling of what we have and what the music evokes in us, what kind of emotions it gives us and it brings us to. It's like kind of a journey that we have, and the time stops and we are there on stage to experience something. And for me, I like the same like in the conducting. When I play solo, I like to feel that the ensemble that is playing with me around, it's somehow they are invited to be part of my story. So they are also they are not just accompanying me, but they are also involved in being creative team, that it brings the whole interpretation of the piece as one big music storytelling. And I think this is for me what is the most joyful also as experience, that playing solo is mostly for me an invitation for the musicians to be part of my storytelling. And it's not just me playing, but it's somehow the whole team enjoying being on stage and doing it together with me. And then I think also the public feels it, that this is somehow transparently giving and receiving the energy through different players. So I share the music with the public because I play and I give what I give, but also I put the energy aside on my left, right, behind, and they give me back the energy. And this kind of circulations of energy through the stage to the public, it brings out more emotions. I think the people feel more part of being something that we are trying to give them, not just interpretation. We don't only interpret music, but we try to tell something that for us is truthfully important and would touch our hearts. And we try to be the same truthful to ourselves and also to the public. And then people, even if they are not cultivated in this culture, in this music, for example, everyone has the same heart. So everyone feels if something is true or not. And this kind of truth is the key to touch the people's heart, I think, wherever we play, if it's here or other places.